So hello and a warm welcome to our next episode in our special guest series of PCS Pods. I'm Kate Forsdyke and I'm the Director of PCS Legal, and today I'm joined by Terry Blackburn, who has many strings to his bow. He's built a property portfolio in excess of 10 million, as well as other business ventures. Terry has also written 2 books and has a successful podcast called The Rags to Riches Show. So welcome, Terry. So thank you for meeting up with me today. So how did you first get into the property sector?
Thanks for having us, first of all. Appreciate it. So how did I get into property? I got into sales when I was 19.
Okay.
And I started to make good money when I was 19, and I'd done what most 19-year-olds would do at the start, which was spend the money.
Yeah.
Pay a bit of an with it.
Yeah.
And then about a year in, I thought, I'm making 80-90 grand as a 19-year-old, which was good money back then. I need to really do something with this money instead of just spending it on stupid stuff. Yeah.
On all the good stuff.
All the good, enjoyable stuff. So I hadn't done any sort of property education. I hadn't read any books, or podcasts didn't even exist back then, or YouTube wasn't big or anything like that. So I just thought property was a good place to put my money. So that's what I did. And it was quite reckless, I would probably call it.
Okay.
Uneducated approach. It was just buying the cheapest properties I could possibly find.
Yeah.
And yeah, to give you an idea, the first ever purchase was 14.5 grand.
Oh, wow.
So you definitely wouldn't get that in Essex.
Definitely wouldn't get that in Essex. You'd be lucky to get a parking space for that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So yes, it was 14.5 grand was the first one, which was a 2-bed terrace in a place called Easington Colliery.
Okay.
Which is a really rough part of County Durham.
Yeah.
Little mining pit village, I think it was years ago.
Yeah.
You can imagine though what you get for that type of money. The second one was 16 grand. Third one was 17.5 grand.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't even finance these things. They've got to be cash purchases.
Yeah.
The tenant profile, as you can imagine, is what you think it's going to be. I had break-ins, drug dealers in there. We had them smashed up. We had an attempted murder scene, apparently, which was what I was told. The police ringing us saying, who is this person in this property you've got, on all this type of stuff. So I made some horror stories at the start.
Came with a lot of drama then.
Definitely. But how I actually got into it was just, I thought property was a good place to put your money. And it is.
It is.
As long as you do it the right way.
Definitely.
That's how it kind of started. It's evolved a lot since then. But, but that's how it started.
Okay, brilliant. So what are your top tips for somebody looking to invest in property?
So loads really. It depends on a lot of factors, to be fair. Your attitude to risk, massively.
Yeah.
Some people will naturally take more risks than others. It depends on your cash position.
Okay.
It depends on your end goal as well, what you're looking to achieve. Some people get into property for cash flow.
Yeah.
Which then means that your strategy, if your goal is cash flow, your strategy is different if you want to build your pot or you want to build your asset base.
Yeah.
It's a complete different strategy, but general top tips, I suppose, would be things like educate yourself first.
Okay.
Whether that's reading books, podcasts, audio books, actual books, courses, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or getting a mentor, you can learn from someone else's mistakes instead of your own.
Yeah.
And you can fast track your journey quite a bit by leaning on someone who's done what you want to do or to be where you want to be.
Yeah.
Definitely, because a lot of people, like I did, I just jumped into it. And luckily I wasn't buying, properties in Essex for 300-400 grand. I was buying ones for 40 grand. So it wasn't a huge amount of money to lose, even if it went wrong. But educating yourself, getting the right guidance and getting somebody or some content around you and absorbing it before you make your decisions, I think is the right thing to do. Start with the end in mind as well. Yeah. I think part of the problem with property is there's that many different ways to do it. I mean, I'm sure you've came across all different strategies and types and ways of doing things, because there's commercial, there's resi, there's HMO, there's Airbnb, there's
so many options available.
And then you go down the quirky ones like lease options and rent and all these different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes because there's that many different strategies, people look at them all and they think, and they get a little bit like analysis paralysis. They rabbit in the headlights and they think, what do I even do here? Which way do I go?
Yeah.
So the way to narrow that down and to get clarity is start with the end in mind. So if it's cash flow, highest cash flowing strategies are HMO and Airbnb.
Yeah.
So you just focus on those, and sometimes starting with the end in mind gives you the clarity to tunnel vision almost. This is what I need to look for.
And focus on one sort of main thing rather than lots of different ones. Yeah.
100%. Because if you try and do 10 different strategies, you'll end up doing 10 of them not very well. Whereas if you focus on one or two, you can really
you're going to do them very well. Yeah, no, definitely. That makes sense.
Definitely. And I would try not to rush would be another tip as well, because everybody's impatient. Well, most people are impatient. They want loads of money really quickly and loads of properties.
We all do.
Everybody wants it like yesterday. But like sometimes just slowing down to speeding up is a good way to doing it, as in just do one thing at a time. Get used to working with conveyancers, get used to working with estate agents and letting agents and builders and banks.
And build those relationships, I think, is really important. Yeah.
And you know, some of the guys that are coached, you know, they're sitting on a bit of money and they're trying to buy 4 or 5 deals at once. And I'm like, just hold on, because if you get one of these wrong, you know, it's not like 100 quid, it could be 10 grand, it could be 50 grand that you use, yeah. So slowing down to speed up, I think, is the way. Get a strategy nailed down before you go to the next one and take your time.
No, that sounds really good advice. So you've also written 2 books called Be a Lion and also The Power of Peas. So what's your inspiration for helping other people to achieve their full potential?
Inspiration is I've got multiple businesses, and I do enjoy the aspect of the businesses that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
Is the coaching, the sales training, me standing up in front of a board or a flip chart and giving me motivational and all that. And when I was doing that, the Be a Lion concept came up. Well, both the Power of Peas also came up from a training session off the cuff, and then I kind of developed it and built on it. But the inspiration came completely from a training session. But Be a Lion, if you summarise that book, it's about the analogies of lions and other characters in the book. So everybody gets this analogy when I say it. So if you think about a lion, we've all watched David Attenborough, right?
Yes, of course,
the legend. So I don't know much about animals, by the way. I'm not like some zoologist. But you think of a lion, I can't ever imagine a lion sitting there and a zebra or wildebeest or a buffalo walks past and the lion thinks, nah, I'm not good enough today. I don't think I can catch that zebra. I mean, I don't know much about animals. I'm sure someone will probably correct us. But I can't imagine the lion thinking, nah, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough. They just go and do it, right? They just do what they want to do on their terms and they don't have any self-doubt. Whereas humans generally have a lot of self-doubt, and that's either developed or it's gained. It's by your circle or your partner or your family or whatever you've gained these, whatever your level of belief is. So the analogy about being a lion is just doing what you want when you want. Don't doubt yourself and just give it a go. Just run after that goal, so to speak, because you're never going to catch the goal unless you start running, right? You're never going to get there unless you take the first step.
Sense,
So everyone gets that one. And then another analogy in the book is about hyenas. So hyenas I just go from the Lion King. I've got kids, right? And I'm not watching with my kids. But hyenas make that cackle sound, don't they? That laugh, right? So I related that to the people that laugh at you or the people that try and take the mick out of you or try and put you down, they try and kill your dreams, squash your aspirations, and you try and talk to them about what you want for your life. You'll never do that. You're not capable of that. We've all got them in our life, right? Again, it might be a partner, it might be parents, it might be friends, work colleagues. Everybody can relate to that because everyone's had that at some point. So your options are there is try and remove the hyenas from your life and don't hang around with them anymore, or get enough lions around you that they can't affect you. So if there's 10 hyenas around one lion, the hyenas are probably going to win.
Of course.
They're probably going to bring the lion down, right? But if there's 10 hyenas but there's 10 lions, the hyenas aren't getting into that
no,
path,
probably
right?
back down. Definitely.
Because then you've got strong people around you, so that comes down to building a good network, having good circles, being around like-minded people who are also lions, who are strong-minded and want to achieve big things. So that's a hyena analogy. And the last analogy in the book is, there's loads of other things in the book, but the main three, the last one is sloths. So those are those really slow animals that just, again, I don't know much about animals, but my perception of it is they just crawl around the trees really slow, don't they? And they don't really do much. They don't really achieve much in their life. And this isn't a dig about those people because, there's millions of them. But if you hang around with people that don't really want to do much or don't know much about business, about conveyancing, about property, about whatever, you're just going to become one of them. You're going to become a little bit slower, a little bit lazy, a little bit just ticking by, just getting through life, going through the motions, getting your paycheck, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely fine for some people, but don't expect to have an amazing life with loads of amazing things and experiences in it.
Yeah.
If you're hanging around the trees just crawling like there's nothing.
No, that makes total sense.
So everybody gets those analogies, and that's what the book is about.
Oh no, sounds good.
And like how I live my life and how I do all my business and property and journeys and everything that I do. So
brilliant. No,
so that's the book. And the last one, the Power of P's, is 88 words begin with P. Again, it came from a training session. There's loads of words with P: profit, perspective, power, pain, pace, all of these different words. So it's my interpretation of those words and how you can use them and implement them into your life.
Oh, fantastic. No, it sounds really good.
To achieve more.
Yeah. So you also do a lot of coaching. So can you tell us a bit about the courses that you offer for people as well?
Mm-hmm. So sales is one of my passions. And I coach a lot of people on sales, how to increase sales, how to earn more profit from your business. And there's a sales course as well. And the reason for that is, unfortunately, sales has a bit of a bad name.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from maybe car salesmen or double glazing salesmen. They've got this bad name, haven't they? Because there is a lot of salespeople who are they're trying to push products on people when they don't really need them. These pushy salespeople, pinstripe suits and all that.
Yeah.
All visualizing, right? But if you think about it, sales is the lifeblood of every business, even conveyancing. So 100%. You've got to sell to people why they should use you guys for conveyancing, why they should come back to you guys for conveyancing, why they should continue to use you for conveyancing. And if you're not the cheapest, if you're the cheapest, then you're going to get people anyway because people buy on price. But if you're middle of the road or higher end, you've got to sell to them why your service is worth what you're charging 100%. For it.
Yeah.
And whether you're selling coaching packages, whether you're selling coffee, whether you're selling cars, it doesn't matter. Like, the sales are involved in every single business on the planet, some directly, some indirectly. But for some reason, people don't talk about it too much and they don't want to learn about sales, and it's actually a really valuable skill.
Yeah, for any business, isn't it? Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Definitely. And my main businesses that I built are around sales. So the life insurance and mortgage brokers that I built, that was my main business, how I made all the money.
Yeah.
We had over 100 salespeople in that business.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was non-sales background, and I brought them in, trained them on how to sell, and turned them into really high-performing salespeople. So I'm just trying to spread my message about how important sales is, and you can do it the right way, with integrity, with morals, not being pushy, but being professional, and make a load of money.
Yeah.
And from what I can see, I can't see any real lead in sales training in the UK, and that's what I want to become.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
There's loads of American guys, isn't there? There's not many UK guys.
No.
So yes, I coach people on property, on business, and on sales, and there's a sales course as well, just like an online one.
Oh, perfect. No, it sounds good. I might have to send my new business team to you.
Yes, love it.
So you also record a successful podcast called Rags to Riches. So what can listeners expect to learn from your show?
Mm-hmm. So at the start, I started during COVID.
Yeah.
Just because I was looking for some property podcasts.
Yeah.
And I won't name names, but a lot of the property podcasts haven't really got any property, or they can speak, but they're not really talking from experience. Right? Yeah. So I just wanted to do a podcast that was real, from someone who's actually doing loads of property, who's actually active.
Yeah.
And I was just I was trying to get guests on who were high performers in property. So there's loads of episodes where I'm interviewing people, find out about their journey and their story.
Yeah.
And then the past year or so, I've did loads of solo podcasts, so me sharing my journey, my story.
Yeah.
And things that are like questions that I'm asked a lot. So how to raise private finance, how to work with angel investors, how to sell more, how to network properly. All of these, the questions that I generally get asked, I try and do my spiel on them. On the podcast. So that's what it's about. It's about people's inspiring stories and my journey, business, property, and sales related stuff.
Sounds great. Brilliant. So this is kind of a question from my point of view more than anything. So what do you think the conveyancing industry can do to make the conveyancing process better?
Speed.
Yes.
Definitely. And if you ask any property investor, I'm guessing they'll say the same thing. Certainly from my, different sides of the table, right?
100%,
in this, for sure. And my main issue is just how long it takes. Now, I completely get that's not a lot of the time down to the actual conveyancer. There's searches, there's delays, there's the other side.
Yeah.
There's all of that. And there's various probably other factors that I'm not even aware of. I don't know how that legal process is in full.
Yeah.
But the main thing is just speed. So I use a couple of guys in London that are a lot more expensive than what I used to use, but they are quicker.
Yeah, of course.
So definitely speed would help. I've worked with quite a few different conveyancers over the years, and some of them have got like these portals where it shows you like the progress, which I think is it's definitely better to have that than not, just in my opinion, because probably one of the things that people are bugbear with conveyancers is investors don't know where they are.
No.
Instead of ringing you guys, probably pestering you when they're busy.
Yeah.
Where's this? Where's that? If they can just log in and see.
Yeah.
Then that's definitely preferential from my point of view, anyway.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to name names. I haven't used you guys. I'm sure you guys are great.
I've never acted for you before, by the way.
Yeah. But I have found in the past that I do think that some of them are not telling the truth. Yeah. And they're saying that they've done something when they haven't. And I've actually found cases where they've literally lied and proved that they're lying, which is very, very frustrating. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to build your wealth and build your portfolio and grow, and even things like refinances, or if you're selling something and you want to use the funds for the next deal, speed is obviously really important.
Yeah, 100%.
And then to get told that they've done something when they haven't, or just whether the workloads are too much, whether it's just a drive thing, a speed thing, a skill thing, a competency thing. I really don't know the reason, but some of the people who I have used in the past, it's just very frustrating when it seems like they could be doing it quicker. Yeah. And I certainly don't know the full legal process. So
I get what you're saying, but people shouldn't, they should tell the truth all the time anyway.
Even if it was like,
doesn't do anyone
the update is there is no update. The update is actually this might take 2 weeks just to do this part, and this is why, Terry. That would be completely fine.
Yeah, because you know where you stand.
Exactly. And it doesn't really normally feel like it is that. Yeah. And it has been proven that the legal work can be done quicker. Yeah. Because I'm paying guys more in London and they are doing it twice as quick as these guys up north. Yeah. So it can be done quicker. So there is and just because I'm paying them more, should that really be the case?
It's a difficult one. Yeah, I think we could talk about that for quite a long time. I think,
but it does show that it can be done quicker. So, but then there's the price element. So some people might not be prepared to pay more. Yeah. Me personally, I would much prefer to use somebody who's competent. Use guys who've obviously got a massive firm by the sounds of it and do amazing things. I'd much rather use someone like you than someone who's smaller that takes longer, because speed is important. If I can do an extra 2 or 3 deals a year. Yeah, speeding up that process and paying an extra grand as well.
Well, if you get your money in quicker, as you said, if you're selling something that might affect your new purchase and stuff like 100%. That, so 100%. It needs to be quick. Yeah, it definitely needs to be quick.
And a bargaining tool or I suppose a sales technique. When I'm offering on a property, speed is important to the vendor as well. Yeah, so if I can say to them, I'll complete cash in 3 weeks. Yeah. If you'll do it for this, and I negotiate a really good price on it, a below market value price, but then the conveyancer takes 6 weeks. Yeah, that makes me look bad, and it's not very good.
But you need to deliver. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of the guys who I do coach, the property guys, have the same issue. Mm. When they're starting off, they don't really have the money to go to a bigger firm. A lot of the time, they go into the smaller firm that takes 90 days to do anything. Yeah, and it's a bit like
it's no good, is it?
It's not. So that's the main thing for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's lots of changes coming up, hopefully, in the conveyancing world anyway, but I get what you're saying, because it's also frustrating from a conveyancer's point of view, because, say, I might look at our pipelines and we have 50 files ready to exchange and you're waiting for someone else or something else. You're only as good as whoever else is in the chain,
true.
The slowest person in the chain, really. So it is frustrating, and changes do need to be made to make the process easier and sped up. From our point of view, obviously, there's a lot of red tape for us.
Yeah,
we have to make sure we do it properly, but that doesn't mean that we have to go slow.
One thing that I just thought of there as well. Why on earth? I know this isn't you guys.
Yeah, go on.
But why on earth do we still need wet signatures? Why we can't just do electronic signatures is beyond me.
I know.
It's beyond me. Why do I have to scan in all the I mean, there's some apps now, isn't there?
I think most conveyancers use apps now, which I find really helpful because I don't have to worry about any of that. I just have to look at the report and it's much easier, much quicker. Back in the day, people, we used to have to see people in person or they send their passports in, and that's always a bit of a worry.
Passports,
I mean, that's
crazy,
especially if they're going on holiday the next week. But,
and another one, sorry,
that's all right.
One that still baffles me is limited company purchases or remortgages, where you have to do the ILA document, that independent legal advice form.
Yes.
If you're the sole director, after signing the document to say, I have had a meeting with myself at this address, and basically I've agreed with myself that I'm not going to do this purchase. Come on. And it's got to be wet signature. And I think that's the bank.
That's the bank thing. That's not a conveyancer thing. But we're the ones that sort of help you and give you the advice.
You've got to get your solicitor to give advice that. Do you understand you've had a meeting with yourself, Terry?
And sometimes you have to get another conveyancer to do it as well, which doesn't make sense. I think that doesn't make sense because we act for you, so we're obviously going to give you the right advice.
And then you've got to pay another firm
to do
£100 to do that. And it's you're never going to say, I disagree with myself.
No, that's right.
I'm not going to sign this document. It's just a pointless exercise.
I know, that's definitely a bank thing. And the banks do need to catch up, I think, with the process because a lot of them are still... we still have to do faxes and stuff, and they need to they need to move over onto the technical side of it. It'll be a lot easier for us. So, so there's lots of changes from all different people. I think that could make the process better. But
I agree.
But we'll get there slowly but surely, hopefully. Anyway. So my next question is, what's the most important lesson that you've learned that you think that everyone should know during their lifetime?
Their lifetime, so there's not a business related question.
Okay, or it can be business or...
I'll do a few different ones. So the most important lesson...
Not to buy properties for about £10,000.
No, don't buy too much.
That'll probably be one.
Actually, that is a lesson if you generalise that statement is you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
and that's in all different parts of life. So I was having a conversation with the guy I'm coaching just yesterday about he does like fire risk assessments for HMOs and hotels and things, and he's looking to take on his first member of staff. So we're talking about this, about how I've recruited people in the past, how you interview, how you onboard, how you train and manage and all of that. And we're talking about salary expectations. So we had this conversation literally yesterday, like you get what you pay for. If you, like my most recent hire was I took on a second PA. So if I advertise that PA position at 15 grand, or I advertise it at 30 grand, you're going to get a different type of person, right?
Yeah,
they're going to be more experienced, they're going to be more competent, they're going to be quicker, better, more efficient and all of that.
Yeah.
But in business, most people at the start, and sometimes you have to because you haven't got the money, you're trying to recruit and you're trying to offer really low end salaries. But if you want to compete with the big players and you want the best people, you have to pay the best, not necessarily best money, but you've got to compete on, because you're never going to attract good talent and good people paying crappy wages.
No, of course not.
So you get what you pay for. With property, if you buy the lowest value property you can find, it's going to be different to a higher value one. If you're buying a laptop, if you pay £2,000 or you pay 200, there's going to be a quality difference. So that applies to everything, and you can't always go for the best, especially when you're starting off. But you can maybe look at. You've got to consider that. But I think people want the best people at the lowest price. Which
of course. Same when you're using a conveyancer, of course, as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and same in every part of life. But other lessons, I mean, there's loads, to be quite honest. One thing that I always talk about to my coaching clients is a lot of different things, but two of the main ones is looking after your own mental health and physical health.
Yeah, of
I
course.
honestly believe that will make you a better leader, a better business person, better salesperson, better conveyancer, better property investor, better businessman, everything. Because if you feel good in your body, you'll feel good in your mind. And if you feel good in your body and mind, typically you make better decisions, you can think clearer, think better, think...
True.
Certainly in my own experience, I just know if I don't exercise or go to the gym for 3 days, honestly, I'm a nightmare.
Yeah.
I snap at my kids, I snap at my partner, I don't make good decisions, honestly, I'm a nightmare. So for me, that's a massive one, is just looking after yourself.
Yeah, of course.
And that doesn't mean going on a marathon, I don't run and all that stuff, but even if it's just going for a walk, or, anything like that, just looking after yourself. I truly believe that will make you better at whatever field you're in. And I suppose
that's good advice.
Looking after your mindset as well. So that's not just, not taking drugs and things. That's obviously one part of it, but another part of it is keeping yourself sharp, listening to things like this, and constantly trying to develop and learn new skills and grow as a person. I am obsessed, me personally. I am obsessed with self-development. I drove here 2.5 hours. I don't listen to radio. It's all self-development. Yeah. Podcasts, audiobooks, reading. Yeah. And I like to ring people who are doing huge things. I've got a great network. I'm really lucky in that sense. Not lucky, I've built my network. Yeah. But I like to ring, I ran a good mate of mine who's a financial advisor in Norwich, doing mega things. He deals with clients that are worth hundreds of millions. He's a really, really switched on, wealthy guy. And I chat with him on the way here, and I just love picking his brains. What are you up to at the minute, Jason? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? Because I get inspired by speaking to people who are doing more than me. Yeah. And I think that if you can develop that habit of constantly trying to improve and better yourself in different parts of your life, I think you're going to achieve a lot in your life. Yeah,
because you never stop learning, do you? Really?
Yeah, so, and you're not going to get complacent. You're going to want to keep going to that next level and keep trying to better yourself. And that's the difference, I believe, between the elite and the average. It's that they're never really, you don't get complacent, the people at the top. Yeah. They want to keep going and keep getting better and developing, and I love it.
That's good. Yeah. You're doing something you love as well, which is also really important.
Definitely.
So you've got an impressive catalogue of businesses, including hotels, bars, restaurants, and even a glamping site. So what's been your favourite business venture to date?
Oh, favourite? The life insurance brokers. That's, I got into selling life insurance when I was 19. Yeah. I worked for 2 big American companies, and I set up my first business at 24. I'm 34 now. Yeah. But that business, we won 15 or 16 national awards. We were the biggest life insurance brokers in the country. I got really well known for that. I was very good at it, and we built this monster team, and some of our best friends still work there. Yeah. I exited that business last year. I sold it last year. And I must admit, when I sold it, I wobbled a bit because I was like, what have I done? I do love it. But that was definitely my favourite, just because I loved everything about it. It got us the money to invest in property and invest in all the other things. So there's part of that, and it was fun. It was sales. I loved sales. I was training people, and I was getting people who were builders or chefs or hairdressers, training them how to sell, and they were going from making 20 grand as a chef to 100 grand in sales. Yeah, brilliant. And they'll forever be grateful because they often tell us in still messages. And I know that I've impacted their life and their families.
It's nice to see people progress as well. Definitely. No, I love it. Doing what we do is great. I love seeing the progression in people.
It's great because as you earn more money personally, it becomes almost less about the money.
Yeah, of course.
And it's more about things like that, helping people get to where they want to be.
Giving people the opportunity is massively important.
Definitely, and seeing them, especially if they're a nice person, and you help them, and you can visually see their life getting better and improving, and going on nicer holidays and buying a nice house and having a nicer life for their family, knowing that you've played a small part in that.
Yeah, it's great.
Is a really good feeling. So. And I got loads of that. There was literally hundreds of people who were helped over the years in that business, and there was 120 sales staff in the end when I sold it, and loads of them are still my good mates to this day. Yeah. So that was my favourite. bars and restaurants are very challenging. Very challenging. I didn't.
It's not as glamorous as what it sounds.
No, then that you would just think, oh yeah, you buy the ingredients, you get the chef, you get the staff, and then it's a hard gig. That so's hotels.
Yeah.
Construction. I've got a building firm. That's challenging. Being a builder is very challenging. And I must admit, I do love the coaching that I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's similar to what we just talked about. I can see the progression, I can see the fulfillment,
you're helping people,
satisfaction, and them growing, and then they send you nice messages. I've just bought a deal, Terry. Thank you so much. I've just did this. Thank you so much. It becomes just as much about that as it does about the money.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously, I wouldn't do it for free. Let's be honest.
No, of course not.
Obviously, I'm still driven by money. I'm not going to lie, but
you get a bit more than you get a bit more from it, don't you? Really?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're obviously a very busy person. So what does your daily routine look like?
So exercise or gym 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
That's if I look at my diary. Again, I coach my coaching clients on this because a lot of people ask me like, how do I do all of the stuff that I do all at the same time? Because there is a method to do that. So if you look at my weekly calendar, just use Google Calendar. Nothing fancy. First thing I put in is when I'm going to the gym. Second thing I put in is something to do with my missus and my kids. So most mornings I take them to school. When I'm home, that is. Obviously I'm travelling somewhere. But when I'm home, I take them to school and I generally pick them up. So I'm achieving what I'm achieving between 9 and 3:30.
Okay.
And then once I've got time for me, which is the gym, time for my missus, we're normally on a Tuesday night. So tonight we're going to have a nice meal tonight. Or try and do something with her. Yeah, definitely. There's no point having loads of money if you've got no one to spend it with.
Exactly it.
Spend it on. So time with the missus, time for the kids, and then after that, I then block in the recurring things that happen every week.
Okay.
So I generally do, we call it a WIP meeting on a Monday, which is work in progress, WIP. So that's what we've got on for the week. So I speak to my senior team, my PA, ops manager, all them people. What's the plan for the week? What projects have we got on? Wednesday, I just do a check-in phone call with everybody, 5 minutes. Like the WIP meetings are half an hour. The Wednesday catch-up is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then we do a Friday checkout. Yeah. And that's the skeleton of my week, and then all the other stuff is generally dotted in
just
and around that, the reactive stuff. Obviously, if I've got coaching clients, they're blocked in on generally Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Then the rest of it's just seeing how it goes. But I've got time for me. I've got time for my partner.
Great. Yeah.
I've got time for my kids.
You've got the balance is the key word, I think, isn't it?
Definitely.
Getting the right balance.
You guys must. I didn't realise how big your organisation was until we just spoke off air. But you couldn't. There's no way you could manage 170 people directly. You need layers of management, and there's no point you trying to manage that many people. You need to manage the managers.
Yeah, that's right.
And the key members
of
staff.
So it's like a hierarchy of people. Yeah.
Exactly, and then they manage people underneath them, and that's how it's. And mine isn't that size, my organisations and my companies, but I still manage key people, and then they carry out the tasks and manage the people that are under them. I'm not managing the cleaners at the hotel or the chefs in the front hut. Like I've just managed the manager
the people
of the
that
hotel.
does that. Yeah,
and then they do that, and that's what I think maybe people who are starting off in business or maybe haven't done anything to a decent scale is that they don't understand that you get to a stage where you're just managing the senior people and then they manage the people underneath. Yeah. And I've got I love my life, to be quite honest. It's don't get us wrong, it's stressful, but I've tried to remove things that I don't enjoy and that aren't profitable. So what I try and do is do things that are high fun and high profit. Yeah, of course. Anything that's low fun. Yeah. And low profit, I try and pass on. Don't blame you. If you get yourself to that stage, then life is good.
You're winning.
You've still got time for yourself, you've got time for your partner, you've got time for your family life, and friends, and doing things that you enjoy, because there's no point having loads of money if you're just working constantly.
No, exactly.
And people fall into that trap. They work 7 days a week, and all they do is work. And then the relationship suffers, the health suffers, they don't see the kids, they don't see the partner. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly it. No, I'm with you on that one. So what's next for Terry? So what else have you got in the pipeline coming up?
I was going to say I want to. I'm going to become the leading sales trainer in the UK. That's my aim.
That's your goal.
That's why I'm ramping up my social media content massively. I'm doing like 3 videos a day at the moment.
Wow.
I'm really, really ramping that up. I want to build more courses, and ultimately, I know I can help more people if I can get on stages and go to. I mean, I already train a couple of companies local to where I live, where they've got a sales team, and they want me to train their sales team on how to sell more, progress more, earn more profit, cross-sell, upsell, tag on products, all of these things.
Yeah.
I want to help organisations, which will then help more and more people earn more, help the businesses more.
Yeah.
And I think there's a gap.
Yeah.
There's a gap for it because I've researched it. I can't find. And like the American guys, it's different. The UK.
It is different. I think we're just different as well, aren't we?
We are, and we don't like. Part of the battle I'm facing is like people don't like to talk about money in this country.
No.
They don't like America's all enthusiasm and rah, and they love all that, don't they? So they'll celebrate sales.
Yeah.
Whereas in this country they don't. So I'm trying to break down that preconception about sales, and get into companies, get onto stages, do more podcasts, do more coaches in the one-to-one clients that I'm doing, to help more people in sales, because I think I'd enjoy it, I'll be fulfilled by it, I'm good at it, I've got a track record, and yeah, that's one of the things that I want to do, and I want to keep being healthy, keep being happy, being a good partner, being a good dad, and enjoying my life, and that's what I want to do. Brilliant,
sounds great. Well, watch this space then. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You've definitely given us some great advice as well, so that is much appreciated.
Well, thanks for having us.